the truth. You can't handle the truth. But it was most definitely not a work. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Luke Owen, DAD. If you are watching a video version of this rather than listening to it through audio means, don't go too crazy. We're just trying that little nice split screen thing. People have said it looks like we're on a Zoom call despite being in the same room.
I can't imagine why people would think that, because I'm not. If it was on a Zoom call, you'd be looking more to. I'd be looking more towards the camera. It'd be more like that.
What it is so much nicer for us because we can talk like this and still address you. Rather than like the weird table that cuts into our nads.
Yeah, we've got like this sort of little mini shelf that's got my Stream Deck on it, and we charge the iPads underneath it and stuff. And yeah, it kind of does cut me in the scrotum a little bit when I had to, particularly when we do 3 counts. Like that's like
you got to straddle it for 3 count.
Yeah, when they position us for 3 count, they're like, yeah, you got to sit here. And I'm like, because
why?
And it's for the wide. They say we've got to get the wide right. But if just this camera here, it's absolutely fine.
Just to show that we are in the same room.
Okay. Wait for it. There it is.
Again, still getting used to how many people listen to this on just audio podcast. I touched Luke's head. Which was nowhere near, like, that's not that far away. It felt like it was forever away going by the video.
Yeah, it really felt like you had to go far to get there.
Anyway, sorry, there's loads of news that people are probably like, why have you not talked about the huge news yet? It's the Money in the Bank 2025 review, and yes, Mr. Iguana has been featured on WWE TV. Yes, carry on with the visual gags, Luke. He's just surprised me with a mock thumbnail he's put there.
It's the thumbnail I was going to run with for this show before I thought, well, maybe we'll talk about the R-True thing instead.
Okay, we will get to Mr. Iguana. But first, we will talk about the finish to the main event of Money in the Bank. It was the John Cena, Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso TV main event tag match. And at the end of it, it's for my money, just like the Randy Orton match, 10 minutes of boredom.
Oh, it was so boring.
I timed it. They worked over Jey Uso for 12 minutes.
And it felt like 20.
Yeah, and that was like the opening 15 minutes of this match with all the stuff with Cody beforehand. And then Cody makes the hot... Like, Jey doesn't even fight them off to get the hot tag.
No, which I thought we were going to get, but then they cut him off to do more rest holds and working over him. And then, yeah, Jey, so then Logan and John just stop and argue. And I'm like, right, and then Jay's going to beat them both up, and then he's going to get the hot tag. No, Jey just crawls over and tags in Cody.
If I go slow enough and don't say yeet, maybe they won't notice me. Yes, did it. I'm like, I can't wait for you to lose the championship. That's what I felt watching him in this.
Oh, Jey. I thought it was about Cena.
Because
what you said there was 10 minutes of a boring John Cena match and then a very bad Jey Uso hot tag. And then you said, I can't wait for them to lose the title. Really could have gone either way. But thankfully, once that hot tag came in and Cody Rhodes just ran wild, then everyone just did moves. It was really fun.
Just like the Orton match with Cena at Backlash, there's AAs, there's spears, there's crossroads, there's this beautiful Logan Paul Asai moonsault to the outside. Yeah, the buckshot lariat didn't quite get all of the landing.
But I thought he was so much better at it than Hangman Page. That's what everyone keeps telling me, yourself included.
Well, but then you can't deny the beauty of that moonsault.
Asai moonsault was incredible.
Like we were looking at, it was Bronson Reed was stopped from doing the tsunami on Monday's Raw off the ring post through the announce desk, and we're like, he's never making that. It's the same-ish distance.
Yeah, but Logan Paul is not Bronson Reed.
No, he's actually got a little drone thing. I think the drone helped him do the moonsault, carried him, gave him a little boost. Woohoo! Just an extra Mario jump. Anyway, it's all going on, and it's Cena and Cody in the ring, just like the end of WrestleMania 41. Cena uses the WWE title again. Oh, you're so dastardly. But it's a kick out. And just as he's about to use it again, someone in a black sort of hoodie and dark jeans runs into the ring and just starts taking down Cena and punching him. Who did you think it was?
Well, the top lifted up to reveal his back. And
so you got it right away.
Well, yeah, like I was like, you can see that he was African American, and I was like, is that our truth? But it was like that is our truth. It was more a question of, is that our truth? And then he revealed, I was like, oh man, it is. So it was a surprise, but I sort of had second guessed the surprise because I was like, is that? More a case of like, I know it is that.
A lot of people, like when CM Punk came back to AEW for that Collision run, a lot of people were like, oh man, I can't wait to see Oli's reaction to this stuff. And the truth is generally not as impressive as people would probably want, because this guy runs in on the main event, and my instant thing is, all right, well, here we go, DQ finish. I'm not even going, who could it be? And then it's revealed as R-Truth. I'm like, oh, okay, they brought him back. Yeah. And that was really, again, I've not been on the same real roller coaster highs and lows of emotion as a lot of other people have around the R-Truth release.
Yeah, so someone took the knock with me on the Friday podcast because, I was talking about how we didn't do a breaking news video for the news that R-Truth, his contract was not being extended. And my rationale for that was like, well, it's R-Truth. Like, it's not like they've released John Cena, or it's not like they've come to the agreement to release Seth Rollins. It's R-Truth. He's a comedy character. He's a comedy sidekick for sort of a lot of the time. So yeah, I've not been on the same emotional journey, but I have seen that people have really been on an emotional journey with this. We've described his release as the match on the kindling.
Yeah. One guy, I put it in my news video, tweeted that this was one of the greatest moments in history.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if it was the greatest moment on the show.
Well, not when this guy's there.
Mr. Iguana's right there. Obviously, Mr. Iguana. But honestly, that bit where Chad Gable ran up the ladder and then did the...
Who ran up?
I mean, didn't even mean say Mr. Iguana then. I just love the guy. We were watching clips of him before we came down here. I don't want to talk about Money in the Bank. Anyway, and he does the El Grande Americano, then does the ladder thing. Yeah. But yeah, it's it's certainly interesting. It's a very interesting story, is how I take it. And the question posed on this title of this podcast is it a work?
Yeah, so I've had a poll running since before we actually went live, just asking the audience, like, yes, no, honestly, not sure.
Don't care.
Because when I saw he was back, instantly my reaction was very smart. Because this is, I don't want to toot my own horn. This is what I said was going to happen on Raw.
And I said, owning up to it, I was like, I don't think they consider him that important.
Yeah.
And I don't think the chants on Raw were ever enough where they took over the show or anything. But yeah, they did feel the need to react.
Yeah.
Maybe it was down more to the roster reaction as well.
I think it's a case of that. But I also think it's online backlash. Like, this has been a bad week for WWE PR, like in terms of the R-Truth thing. So like I said on the Raw podcast, they'll bring him back because they'll see the online backlash and they'll bring him back because it's an easy win. This is an easy win to get fans back on your side because you brought the guy back that you were sad was going to be let go. And he wasn't being released or anything. It's just his contract wasn't being extended. So that was my first thought, was like, very, very smart. They've brought him back because that's a very good PR move to do. Good, smart pivot. What I don't think I was fully expecting was then looking at the reactions to this and looking at the comments on today's WrestleTalk news video and your review of it. And I won't say it's a 50-50 split.
No.
But there is way more people who think this whole thing has been a work than I expected there to be.
Yeah. What's the poll saying right now? So I want to know how many people I'm going to offend.
So currently no is at 65%, yes is at 16%, and honestly not sure is at 19%.
Okay, so...
it's about 60-40, say, for like yes and no. Because the ones who are saying yes are saying yes, and the ones who are saying I'm not sure are probably more... I think leaning more towards the yes side of things.
You can't say that from your own option. It's a yes or no. 16% think it's yes. I think, going by YouTube polls, that is a tiny majority. A tiny minority, sorry. I don't think... I think it's certainly a interesting thing to discuss. That might be why it's getting more talked about than the, I think, very simple, obvious version of this where... they got rid of R-Truth because they didn't realize how beloved he was. As I said on the Friday podcast episode, that doesn't show up on the spreadsheet when they're making these decisions, and they decided to go back on it smartly. So we've had a similar thing recently. We took, we removed the AEW podcast coverage, and then we brought it back because there was a sort of outcry from the fans, and we listened to them. It's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
I think WWE have done a good thing by being able to bring this person back, because I think cutting him wasn't the right decision to do.
I think that's what it is. They realised the mistake, and they've brought him back. I think what doesn't help matters, and I think what maybe is that honestly don't know category, and certainly the yes category, is Triple H in the press conference saying it's been a work the entire time.
Well, he never said that. Let's go through all the things in the overwhelming evidence in the "it's not a work" column. There's the fact that R-Truth himself was the first person to announce that he's not re-signing.
Which also, I'm going to play. I'm going to play DA here. I'm going to play Devil's Avocado in all of this.
Double anal.
That could be part of the work.
Okay. Then Fightful, PW Insider, Wrestling Observer heard that what went down was a junior, or like just a talent relations employee phoned Truth not renewing the contract. Carlito and Valhalla's contracts are also decided not to be renewed at the same time.
Devil's Avocado, they were working the dirt sheets.
Why? Because then they also worked the entire roster.
Because then this becomes a surprise. Well, the roster were in on it. So all of the roster, because like as what a lot of Sean's arguments are, is that if this was a work, they've worked the entire locker room and backstage staff and talent relations. If you have got the tinfoil hat on that this is all a work, the easiest answer to say is like, yeah, because they're all in on it to work the dirt sheets to make this a bigger surprise when it happens.
Okay, I didn't know you were going to go full on lunatic devil's advocate.
Well, that is the devil's advocate response, right?
It's the most extreme. Yeah, everyone could be in on this mass elaborate plot. Okay, well, how about this one? The whole point of this match, this tag team match, is that Cody can pin Cena to set up the SummerSlam WWE Championship rematch.
Yeah.
This undermines it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I did see someone in the comments being like, sorry, are you going to tell me that they changed the finish of the tag match just for the R-Truth return? It's a work this whole time.
Why?
Because they were like, they came up with a new finish for the tag match. Of course this was the plan all along.
The finish was always Cody pinning Cena. That's how you get to the rematch.
Which is what you did say on the prediction show. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Well, it's just logical booking. And then they're like, okay, well, let's chuck an R-Truth in there, or Ron Killings, or whatever he is now. K-Quick, bring it back. and then we get the sort of PR thing done. This is not a good thing for Cody.
No, it's not. And like
no one's talking about the fact that Cody in this big return has pinned the champion.
Yeah,
that should be the major talking point coming out of this pay-per-view, along with Seth Rollins and Naomi winning Money in the Bank.
Yeah, but we are like focusing on
Mr. Iguana.
So yeah, like as I'm saying, that is the devil's avocado stance on this as to, for all of the evidence that you can present that this has not been a work and this is just a business pivot, that is all the evidence you can that is all of the counter arguments I think you could present against that this has been a work the entire time. My argument, like my smoking gun as to why this was a business pivot, is not backstage reports, it's not tweets from the talent, it's not R-Truth tweeting that it's not a work, it's not his son tweeting that it's not a work, because again, that could just be argued as part of the work. The biggest smoking gun is they've never acknowledged it on television.
Yes.
So you can't present this as a return if you've never set up on television that he went away in the first place. The only way you would know that he went away and his contract was not renewed is if you're checking WrestleTalk news, or you're a Fightful Select subscriber, you're going on to WrestleTalk.com, PWInsider.com. You're in that sort of news wrestling sphere that you know the ins and outs of things. Because Michael Cole's there babbling on about like, we thought he was gone for good. We thought the contract. This is the first time they've mentioned it on TV, and it's when he's come back. WWE.com's like, R-Truth returns. If you're average Joe, he never went away. He was on TV last week.
And also, if it was a storyline, if it was a work, it's going to be 6 months long.
Yeah.
That's just not how Triple H books, to pay off this weird thing 5 days later or 6 days later. I totally agree with that. What was the other thing I was going to say here? Damn it, it's gone. I was too too taken with your explanation.
Thank you.
You carry on talking.
Sorry. Yeah, someone in the comments said that's all part of the work.
Well, you mentioned R-Truth's son. R-Truth's son sort of posted a thing saying congrats on the new deal. He also posted no cap.
Yes.
Or something, maybe a cap emoji.
Yes, that's no cap, I believe.
At the Triple H screenshot comment of it's all part of the show.
Yeah.
And that's youth parlance for it's a lie.
That's a lie
because it's a cap.
Yes, that's my understanding.
It's not
well.
no cap.
As a 40-year-old man, that is what I understand no cap to mean.
So why would? I guess again, you can just say everything was part of the work.
Well, okay. What certainly undermines it is on that same press conference where Triple H said in so many words, "It's all a work, brother. This is just all part of the story." Is Cody Rhodes on that same press conference saying, "We heard the fans say that we wanted R-Truth back, so we brought him back"?
Yeah. Let's say a bit about Paul Levesque, Triple H. So he's the guy who made the decision. You know, TKO don't know who R-Truth is. They're just like, here's a spreadsheet.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Here is the roster. Here are the numbers. Your roster needs to fit these numbers. There you go, Nick Khan and Paul Levesque. Who are we going to cut? And they're like, well, let's get rid of Khan. Let's not renew Carlito. So it's Paul Levesque and Nick Khan's decision that R-Truth is the one that they got rid of.
Oh, that, yes. Sorry. Yeah. That I agree with. Sorry, yeah.
And then he has to bring him back because of this, which I think is the right idea. The reports are it's Nick Khan who rings up R-Truth because R-Truth isn't taking WWE's phone calls.
He's too busy taking bookings with independent promotions.
And Fightful's other comment is that some people backstage think that Triple H is not happy about this because he doesn't like it when fans hijack creative. And he's been put in this position. He sort of put himself in this position and he made the decision to make R-Truth come back in. I don't really think it's fans hijacking creative. I think it's fans telling you who they want to see.
Yeah. And I like that report that he doesn't like fans hijacking creative. Apart from WrestleMania 40, when they hijacked creative to go into the direction that he wanted to go in.
It's the whole Rock thing all over again, and this idea that it was all part of the plan. We worked you guys. It's this weird superiority complex that they need to feel that we're the mark still, even though it's this new look WWE. This is still the Paul Levesque and the systems that have been in place for about 40 years, of which Paul Levesque learned his trade under for 25 of those years.
Me and my friend Mark are going to stop watching.
Yeah. The greatest thing...
He's the same guy.
The greatest thing the devil ever did, in the Usual Suspects quote, is convince the world he didn't exist. And that is what Triple H has done. I'm not calling him the devil. I'm not saying he is this innocent party in all of this. And since the early 2010s, he has gone on a concentrated, really successful and effective campaign to turn him into his persona, this guy who is beloved by us marks, because he's the guy who brought us Black and Gold NXT. He's the guy that could then replace Vince when Vince was ousted. Anyway, now here he is, and he's found himself in this position where he's had to begrudgingly go back on this decision he made. He's obviously not happy, if you just can read body language going by that press conference. But rather than do what Cody says and say, well, we listened to you guys and we brought him back, which is, I think, the best way to go about this. It shows some humility, baby faces you a bit. That's the whole point of this, right? Instead, Paul Levesque goes, it's all part of the show, which isn't him saying definitively it's a work, but I think it provides a dog whistle to all the bots and all the WWE stands to go, well, probably a work then.
Yeah.
I'll believe WWE. And
they worked you marks.
It fuels all of this tribalism online.
Which is like, it's really... This is a story that is not that deep. They decided to cut a wrestler or not renew their contract, realized that was a mistake, then brought him back. That's it. It's really no deeper than that.
Happened with Drake Maverick.
Exactly. And then they didn't really do anything with him afterwards. But they did it because it was a good PR move to bring him back after he posted that video of himself being very upset about this, about the release. So it really is nothing deeper than that. But I think Triple H, and actually you could probably say it's kind of a smart, he's the cerebral assassin. He is the game. He's very good at manipulating the bootlicker fans into saying can't believe all these marks fell for it. But not you. Not you. No, you're smarter than those marks over there that read Fightful Select, aren't you? You're smarter than those marks over there that watch WrestleTalk. No. You and I, we're the smart people in the room, really.
Don't want to get too hung up on Levesque's comments, because the headline is WWE, I think, showed a good act of humility.
Me too.
And they brought back R-Truth, so props to them for doing it. Where do you think it goes from here, though? And what about the idea that he's come back as Ron Killings?
Well, this would suggest then, because they then put his shirt up on WWE.com. It's not a new shirt. It's the one that Rhea Ripley was wearing before she was told to take it off on Monday Night Raw. But he's now branded as Ron Killings, and PW Insider are saying he is now. They've signed a new deal. It was put together in the last 72 hours, according to Mike Johnson. And yeah, he's going to be doing as Ron Killings. And based on the presentation that we got here in this, the end of this show, this is more like what we were talking about on that Patreon episode we did on released on Friday. It's more of that NWA TNA serious Ron the Truth Killings gimmick that he was doing there. Is this going to be the serious main event run for him, where if Cena drops the title at
Truth?
No, at SummerSlam to Cody, because presumably it's Cena Cody at SummerSlam, right?
I would expect so. Yeah.
And if Cody wins the belt there, do you then do a Cena Truth feud, which is what's going to be the catalyst for Cena to turn babyface?
I feel like Cena should now go, all right, I didn't get it finished the first time. Now your career's on the line. And he beats him.
Because it could be just, we don't know what the deal is. I don't think we've got it's not like he's signed a multi-year deal or anything like that. It could just be they've signed him for another couple of appearances, because one of the criticism has been he did not get the send-off. You just took him off TV.
To be honest, that's where I'm coming from. I feel like it was quite a cruel way to treat a guy who's been around for ages, and you could have sent him off in a good pro wrestling kayfabe way, gives heat on the people who are still there as heels, and sends him off in an appropriate manner. And you transition him into an ambassador-like role where he can do the charity work and the media appearances. If this turns into a main event push of serious R-Truth Ron Killings, I feel like that might be taking the wrong feedback from this reaction.
Because what people liked was comedy goofball R-Truth. Because it's the reason why, certainly the attitude I took of it's only R-Truth. I wasn't expecting this sort of big reaction that we got. And I'm not trying to disrespect R-Truth in any way. That was just my initial read of it. I did not foresee the amount of emotional reaction that this contract cutting got. But it's, someone left a comment in the Patreon video that we did. Is I've only known comedy R-Truth. That is I became a fan in 2011. So all I've ever known is comedy R-Truth. If people don't know about, I think they might have said 2013 or so, because 2011 was Capital Punishment R-Truth going up against Cena and then tagging with Miz against The Rock. So are people going to want that? Or do people just want him to do the Judgment Day comedy, and people just want to do Awesome Truth comedy?
Well, I don't really know where it's going to go, but I can tell you this wasn't the plan. Well, there's another bit. They would have had a proper t-shirt design made for him if this was a plan. Let's see what you all think on the chat gables. WrestleTalk.com/support. Please send them in. We'll read out every single one at over $5. Noxmer says, all this truth talk is a great way for WWE to divert people from discussing that ad-riddled mess that was Money in the Bank. Even worse than WrestleMania 41. Now new drinking game idea. Take a fireball ladder trademark shot each time you don't see an ad on your screen. Jam that jam.
Yeah, it was the Dave Meltzer said was if it's a space that's available, they'll put a sponsor on it. Slim Jim are now sponsoring tables. They're going to have the Slim Jim logo on them because you're snapping a superstar into a Slim Jim.
His quote was, if they could sponsor the pyro, they would.
Yeah, which, really is no different to any other sport.
It's everywhere.
The football, over here at the soccer for our US viewers, the football is sponsored. There's sponsors all around it. Every team has got 3 different sponsors. The sleeves are sponsored and the chest is sponsored. NASCAR is the whole cars are covered with sponsorship. So it's only kind of new to wrestling, this level of sponsorship. But I think it's because it's so new, that's why people are taking against it. But in 5 years' time, it will just be part of the furniture and you won't even notice it. Which actually is kind of bad for sponsors, because your whole reason of a sponsorship is you want people to notice your brand.
Yeah, just blind to all sponsors. Noshua 4 writes, hey guys, Iguana Mania is running wild. The ladder matches were a lot of fun. The tag match was rather long, and the singles match delivered. The R-Truth return made me leap out of my chair. I do genuinely wonder what the plan for him is going forward. Jam that jam.
Yeah, I think it's a program with Cena, and maybe this will just be a way to write him off TV. But yeah, if he's back as Ron Killington, it's this serious thing. I'm very curious as to what that new plan, what that new direction will be.
Kevin writes, I don't think it's a work, and it's pretty hilarious that Triple H is trying to pretend it was. Either way, I'm really happy to see Truth back, and I'm curious to see what his character will be. 2 good shows. Gable versus Vikingo was probably the best match all day.
So good. I very much enjoyed Worlds
You've watched
Collide.
the whole Worlds Collide.
Yeah, so yesterday, we had a lovely little family day. We put the kids to bed, and my wife and I had a couple of glasses of wine, and we watched Twisters, and then watched some episodes of Old Taskmaster. And then she was like, I'm going to go to bed. And I'm like, all right, I'll see you soon. Pour myself another glass of wine. It's Daddy's alone time. Put the TV on, and I watched Worlds Collide.
Oh, yes.
And I had a lot of fun with it. Like the 2 trios matches were obviously brilliant. Mr. Iguana was the best thing on the entire show.
Yeah.
The exception of the
whole
main
day.
event. Yeah, and like Stephanie was great on the show as well, but like the Vikingo Chad match was incredible. But my favorite thing about this, and I've been waiting to talk to you about this, my favorite thing, because you and I love this sort of stuff. So Conan's doing commentary, right? It's Conan doing color commentary with Corey Graves. Conan wasn't really there to provide color commentary. What he was there to do was put over AAA. But crucially, talk about how much fun people are having as part of the audience. And now look at, they paid for their tickets. They bought tickets to the show, and now they're having a really great time. And they're really, anytime they chanted "This is awesome," it's like, do you hear that? The fans who have bought tickets for this show are really enjoying the wrestling that AAA are putting on. And yes, it is awesome.
What was the overall score of WWE versus AAA matches?
So AAA won the first.
It was 3-2 to WWE.
Oh, right. Okay, you already know the score.
I already know. It was a loaded question. Great first showing, Conan.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Octagon Jr. will have a really good showing on this Money in the Bank show here against Dominic Mysterio.
Your top guys cannot even beat the undercard of WWE. And finally, for now, Dark Duck 33. I'm not sure what to believe about Truth, but I do feel a lack of trust and loss of confidence in believing things going forward.
That's interesting.
Oh, it's wrestling. It's WWE and wrestling.
Yeah.
I feel like they've just discovered Father Christmasism.
Here today. Because he's busy getting everything prepped for December 25th.
It's 7 months away.
Yeah, he's got a lot to do.
Before we get into our full play-by-play podcast review, this podcast doesn't have a sponsor. Instead, we have Patreon. If you go over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk, you can listen to mine and Luke's, in hindsight, rather presumptuous Remembering Our Truth's WWE Career podcast.
Yeah, we did a podcast that was like, let's just cover the career of R-Truth. We went like right back from his start in the industry. We then went through his time with NWA Wildside, his first WWF run, his going to TNA, then his going back to WWE. And we do talk a lot about like, man, it's a shame that they cut him and, they decided not to bring him back when they could have done this, that, and the other. And then 2 days later, they brought him back.
They were already having the conversations when we were recording that show.
Yep.
But also today, we are going to be enjoying some bevies over on Patreon. And this isn't just for our paid Patreon members. You can become like a member on Patreon. You can become a free one. So this is for all of you members. So all you have to do is sign up to us on Patreon, patreon.com/WrestleTalk, and you can hang out with the boys after this show.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that Patreon find a good way to differentiate because as the content creators, we sort of have to explain how Patreon works. So you subscribe on Patreon, and we have, our Patreon subscribers. They're our pledge hammers. They're the ones that get all the exclusive content that we put on Patreon. But
they're the ones who give us money.
You can follow our Patreon page for free, but you don't get any of the content. But when you say, our free followers get this as well, if you're one of the paid subscribers, you might think, well, hang on, why are they getting all this stuff?
Those.
Well, you don't get the stuff for free, but you can follow the page for free.
Yeah.
I don't think Patreon have fully figured out how to communicate this out yet. So it's up to us as content creators to get that messaging across. But basically, if you're a free follower of the Patreon page, you can join the Hangout as well.
Join the Hangout, and full transparency, we're trying to make you convert to pay. That's what we're doing. But it's also, we were going to do it anyway for the paid subscribers, so we thought let's give it to everyone. Right, so this episode of Monday Night Raw on Saturday.
I think that's massively unfair. There were 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches and John Cena wrestled.
Yeah, in a tag match.
Yeah.
I was just underwhelmed by this tag match thing.
Yeah, but it's John Cena. It doesn't wrestle on TV at the moment, does he? He only wrestles on pay-per-views.
Well, Saturday night's main event.
Notwithstanding, because I did forget that happened.
It was a couple of weeks ago, man.
I know. With our truth, no
truth.
less. It's where all this stemmed from.
I thought this was going to be under 3 hours.
Yeah, was it not?
It was 3 hours 20 on my Netflix feed.
Well, you got to get all those, Wheatley's American vodka sponsorships in.
4.25 matches, I'd say this had.
Yeah, I'd say
3 hours 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Shaking my head for podcast listeners.
AEW's 40 minutes longer, and you probably get 10 more matches.
So the opening match was the women's Money in the Bank match. This was Rhea Ripley, Naomi, and Alexa Bliss heading up the veterans, I guess, versus the new NXT upstarts of Julia, Roxanne Perez, and Stephanie Vaquer.
This was the one I was most excited for. Of the 2 ladder matches, this was the one I was most into going in, because there were quite a few viable options as to who could win this thing. Whereas in the men's one, there really was only one winner, and that one winner did win. Whereas this one, I was talking about Julia in the predictions. I said on 3 count. So then, like on Saturday morning, and I was watching SmackDown, I was like, no, she's going for that US title. So I went on to Wrestle League, and I was like, I'm going to change my vote here, and I changed it to Naomi.
Smart,
which I'm very pleased about. So I got those points. But yeah, this was I was so excited for this match going in, and I think it massively delivered. I thought it was a really fun match. My only note, like criticism I would have against it, is I have seen some people thinking it was botchy, and I don't think it was botchy at all, because they never got anything completely wrong. But what it was slightly too over choreographed. So there were moments when, like, I think the key one for me is when there was a moment when they're on 2 ladder bridges, and Perez has got someone in a code red position, and Alexa Bliss has got someone in a code red position because they both use the code red move. But because they want to do it in stereo, because that's a much more impressive visual, Perez was ready way before Bliss was. So Perez, for about 30 seconds, has to keep sort of looking behind her to make sure that Alexa Bliss is in the right position. And it just sort of makes everyone's like, all right, well, this is just you. The match has stopped here, so you can do a spot.
Considering she's one of the new main roster call-ups, Perez was awesome.
She was great.
I felt like she was the main character in this match, and it follows on from the Rumble performance where she was the runner-up, Elimination Chamber, runner-up again. And here, I thought she was the one who made all the dynamics click, because I didn't love this match. I'm in the minority, it seems. Everyone's like, oh, wow, that women's Money in the Bank match was great. I preferred the men's. I think it's because just the character stuff, it just felt like 6 unconnected people in there. And I've really struggled to get on board with the Roxanne and Julia call-ups. Maybe Vaquer as well, because it only just happened. Because they debuted them, they were together as a team, and then they get broken up and drafted, and now Roxanne Perez is a Judgment Day character. I'm just like, I feel like it's the on their way to WWE stint in 2019.
And there's a little bit in this match where Perez and Julia just start tagging together again to work over people. Like, their split that wasn't actually on TV never happened.
So I'm just like, well, why did you ever do that? Why did you ever break them up? Just draft them to different brands, and part of the story from the outset of this match is they're together. But I never felt like there were any stories in this match.
Well, the stories they were setting up with this match is teasing you future matches to get excited for. So, it's Stephanie and Rhea squaring off. It's Rhea and Alexa squaring off. It's Julia and Stephanie going like, oh man, a rivalry renewed from NXT. It's Roxanne getting there with all of them. It really was a case of, this is what the women's division is moving forward, and it's time to be really excited about the stars that we have. And like, credit to WWE, and actually we'll say a little bit of credit to Booker T in some senses on this as well. Because when she set up to do the Devil's Kiss, and this happened at Worlds Collide as well, I don't think it's from all these people who are watching NXT. No. I think it's from people who have seen the clips online. Because they know when she sets it up, this is a move to get really excited about. And WWE's presentation of Stephanie Vaquer, someone they only signed to stop her going to AEW for the record, that I think they've done a really good job in making her feel like an established big star on this roster already. And she really does feel like a focal point of this women's division.
Well, I think there's the Truth spot, there's the El Grande Americano ladder spot, and there's her doing the Devil's Kiss on Rhea Ripley on the ladder bridge.
Yeah.
They're the 3 biggest pops of the night.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, when she does that move just on TV to Rhea Ripley, the internet is going to explode.
Mm-hmm. And a few other things as well. So the NXT women were on the outside. You got Bliss and Rhea in the ring. They're going for the briefcase. But Naomi pushes them both off and didn't do a great deal in the match. More of a Randy Orton style winner, just coming in at the end. All right, all the ladder bumps done. Okay, yep. Come in now. And she unhooked the briefcase, which I think actually, I don't know why we didn't see this earlier. You saw it on the day. Probably the most exciting winner in terms of what's going on already.
That's it. That's what my thinking was when I woke up on Saturday morning and changed my pick. Is because now, if Naomi can cash in, win the title from Tiffany Stratton, and that moves the title into her, Jade Cargill, and Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
So I was thinking this morning, like, you know, because they're doing King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. I don't know when it's I guess it's going to take place on TV, the finals.
Like that Night of Champions, maybe?
It could be. I suppose it could be a Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, couldn't it? But the winner,
that's where it was last year.
But the winner is getting a shot at SummerSlam. Jade wins the tournament, beats Tiffany Stratton for the title. Naomi immediately cashes in and steals it from her.
Mm-hmm.
So she takes the title away from Jade Cargill.
That's cool. Maybe Queen of the Ring happens on Evolution 2.
Yeah.
And you save the guys one for another night. Then we get shots in the crowd of Vikingo with his AAA Mega Championship. I said in my review that part was geo-blocked for Mexico.
Very good.
Thought of you when I wrote it. And then we...
Sorry, speaking of geo-block, one of my new favorite things watching WWE pay-per-views is that we don't get a lot of the sponsor reads that you guys in America get. So when on commentary, they're like, just before a match will start, they were like, and this next match is brought to you by, and they'll say a sponsor. We don't get those ad reads. We just get the commentary cut, and then it's just silence. But they always cut them off mid-sentence. So it's like, this upcoming match is... And then it's just silence. And then it'll just be Pat McAfee going like, great brand.
Cash App. Then we got biggest pop in the night, actually. I know I said it was Devil's Kiss. It is Mr. Iguana, who has the coolest, cheekiest, low-effort face. Like that. I could do that face paint. It works brilliantly.
Yeah. It does look like someone who's going to a Comic-Con convention being like, I'll go as a Mortal Kombat character, but like, can you just do it on me just for now? Because I haven't actually prepped my cosplay in time. Lucha Blog put up a tweet about Mr. Iguana. Said, if I had $1 for every time someone told me that he's never going to make money, I will be 1/100th as rich as he's about to become.
Apparently he's quite a great wrestler.
Yeah.
And you can see it in the way he moves around. I've watched the highlights of his Worlds Collide match. And yeah, the sort of, what do you call it? Round the world, like 40 times before he goes into an arm drag or a Hurricane Rana. The physical comedy with the iguana puppet.
Who doesn't love a puppet? You know, it's why the Muppets have had such a long career, is because people love puppets. And yeah, when he came out, like it was really funny watching Worlds Collide, because he came out, people saw the puppet, and like all of the key forum just decided, he's our guy.
Yeah.
And he was like, no one gave a single F about Aerostar or Octagon Jr. or even the lads across the ring from them. But when Mr. Iguana got in, they were like, yeah, he's the guy. And it's like Orange Cassidy.
Yes.
As a guy who came in on Double or Nothing in that Casino Battle Royal, and a few people knew who he was because he'd made a name for himself on the independent scene, certainly through like YouTube clips and social clips. But he came out of that match and he was one of the big talking points of that first Double or Nothing. So I was like, man, that's so funny. But there's always those detractors being like, it won't last. It's just a comedy gimmick. It won't last. Sort of always ignoring the fact that, yeah, but comedy gimmicks can massively get over and people can really, really get into them.
And maybe they don't last forever, but right now, that's hot.
Yeah.
So hopefully we see more of him on WWE.
He is certainly going to... He's going to get a run in NXT, for sure.
The Worlds Collide stuff set up Dominic Mysterio versus Octagon Jr. This was for the Intercontinental title. Dom booked himself that match earlier in the day because Octagon Jr. respects Rey Mysterio too much, his father. And this was a different presentation of Dom. This was, I'm a credible, aggressive heel wrestler.
Yeah, and it was also different to what they were doing on TV as well. Like, you know, the last few weeks on TV, he's been like, oh, I'm not sure if it, like, starting this sort of babyface turn. Then Worlds Collide. It's like, oh no, you're just the Dominic Mysterio you were last year, where you're just cutting standard heel promos.
I've never bought into this idea that WWE are turning him face. The crowd are cheering him face, but I feel like he's just being the same heel Dom.
In ring, during wrestling, yeah, but the backstage promos, I think his style of promo has changed since WrestleMania because they are slowly they are turning him babyface.
I don't think they're turning him babyface.
Well, if they're not, I think they're morons then, because the crowd are telling you it's time to turn him face.
Again, I don't think they're turning him babyface. Liv Morgan did not interfere. I think she hopped on the apron distracted. Like, in terms of Judgment Day matches, this was zero interference. And Dom beat him with a frog splash.
4 minutes. What was the point?
The point was to really clearly show you that AAA doesn't matter compared to WWE.
I guess.
Welcome to the family.
Like, what was the point?
Well, because you got more time to devote to the Fireball Ladder.
All right. This is hypercritical here. If you're going to do a sponsored ladder, don't have the heels introduce it, because it makes it look like it's a heel thing. As a brand, surely you want the good guys to endorse you, not the bad guys that no one likes?
Luke, what is the official slogan of Fireball Whiskey? We all know it.
Do we?
The official shot of bad guys.
Oh,
that's what Fireball is.
Oh, well, in which case, I take it all back then. Mm-hmm. They're, you know, have their heels do it. It's on brand, I guess.
So this was Chad Gable brilliantly saying, hey, look, I didn't win on Worlds Collide earlier, but we've got to help our guy, El Grande Americano. Creeds, can you put this Fireball ladder down under the ring for later on?
If only you could interfere in Money in the Bank ladder matches, because maybe they could have come down to hell. But you wouldn't have that sort of thing, would you?
Someone should tell Sami Zayn. Because, you know, he didn't want Seth Rollins to win, did he?
No. You know, but you might not have been there.
Could have stopped him.
Might not have been
I guess he doesn't care then. AJ Styles is flying all the way around the world to, what was that for? It was to Australia, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
to
LA
Knight.
LA
Logan
Knight.
Paul.
It was LA Knight, I think.
Yeah, AJ Styles will fly to Australia. Sami Zayn won't go to LA.
Well, you know,
to stop Seth Rollins winning.
Maybe he's smart. Because from what I can gather, LA's quite a dirty town.
Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria was really, really good. I think just as good as their Backlash match as well. Video recap, the video package recap, the NXT title match. So it's like, this is a trilogy. But actually, I think, based by the post-match angle, this is going to be a quadrilogy, an alien quadrilogy.
Yeah, I think we're going to get the rematch at the finale at Evolution 2, probably with a big step.
Yeah. Lyra just jumped her from the get-go during the ring introductions to get over the fact that this is a blood feud, remember? Mm-hmm. Cody Rhodes in the main event. But Becky gets on top. It goes to near falls really quickly with kickouts at 2. And it's like, it's quite scrappy, but not in a dangerous, oh, what's happening way. And like, oh, this is how two people who hate each other would fight.
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed this. And then Lyra kicking out of the manhandle slam off the second rope. And then Becky just like dragging her to the outside and hitting one on the floor as well. Then struggling to pick her up because she was like, great, okay, soft rope didn't work. I'll do it outside, then I'll pin her. Oh no, now she's dead weight and I can't lift her up. And she nearly gets counted out, so she panics, rolls back into the ring to break the count. And as she goes out, Lyra's had just enough time to recover, and she hits the Nightwing on the floor. So now both of them are down, and both of them just get back in the 9. I thought it was I thought they might go to the draw at that point. I really bought into that 9 count.
It was really good in-ring wrestling spots. Like, there was no hardcore spectacularness, just like their Backlash match. This is like a really great in-ring match.
Loved it.
Of that style. And they trade roll-ups when they get in the ring off of that near count-out spot. But Becky gets the better of it via cheating.
She hooks the tights.
She hooked the tights, and Lyra is just distraught, but she knows, look, well, the stip was, I've got to raise your hand. She raises Becky's hand. Becky wants to raise her hand in a patronizing way back. And then she's like, actually, put the belt on me as well. And Lyra did that. I was like, oh, I think they're making Lyra look pretty weak here. So thank God, Lyra then gets her in a German and German suplexes her, hits a Nightwing to leave her lane. No Bayley. Becky is IC champ, but there's a lot more left here for a rematch.
Yeah, I think Evolution 2. Maybe Last Woman Standing, something like that.
Travis Barker and Kourtney Kardashian are in the crowd. And there's a Money in the Bank action figure set with Pat McAfee.
Wasn't this like proper 2010 WWE? Come to the commentary desk so you can advertise the toys that you're selling to kids. Remember, like we were covering the Rock Cena stuff, and they were playing with those Power Slammer things, those toys that play with themselves.
They play with themselves.
Because why would you want a toy that you can play with and do stuff with? It's better to have a toy that just plays with itself. Really did feel like that.
Yeah, but it looked pretty cool, this ring. It's an official Money in the Bank ring. It's got like this yellow structure that comes over the top like a crane. I guess that's where you dangle the belt from.
Yeah. Is the match sponsored?
I didn't see. Yeah, where's the little Prime bottle that sits outside? If I was a kid, I'd lap that stuff up.
Or logo for Stranger Things in the corner.
Then we had the men's Money in the Bank match. Pretty good video package beforehand where it's recapping all the stats and Wade Barrett goes through each person's chances. And then it is Seth Rollins, Penta, LA Knight, Andrade, Solo Sikoa, and El Grande Americano. Am I missing anyone?
No, that's it.
That's 6. And I thought this was really good action. Just how Roxanne Perez was the standout in the women's. I thought El Grande Americano here was non-stop incredible.
So great. So this is why you put El Grande Americano, in this sort of match, because there's a great moment. Wade Barrett noticed the similarities between him and Chad Gable, and he had this great line where he said that El Grande, he's got an Olympic-like physique.
Well, when El Grande Americano's going on and on. You can see he's getting tired. Maybe he's reverting to muscle memory. And he just hits a sequence of German suplexes, ankle lock on the top of the ladder. Like, this is Chad Gable's offense, which isn't the best look for someone who's trying to say they're not Chad Gable.
I will again ask, though, why?
Why?
Why is, if the rumors are correct that this is Chad Gable, why is he pretending to be El Grande Americano? Because I know he's got his war against luchadors, but then he's not really got a war against luchadors in this match. He's fighting against Seth Rollins and Solo Sikoa.
Do you think he wants to beat all of the luchadors and win a top title, and that's when he's like, ha, lucha is stupid. I'm an American wrestler, and I beat you all.
Well, that's why I presume they're going to have him beat Vikingo for the AAA Mega Championship. But, maybe... But this is what I was saying about, like, this El Grande Americano story has had one chapter, and we're still in that one chapter. And it's been about 6... It's probably been way longer than 6 months at this point.
That's the Triple H way.
Yeah. This is the longest first chapter for a while. Actually, no, apart from the Judgment Day, because they're also still in their first chapter.
Oh, come on. They're in, like, the first chapter of their third book.
But all the books have been broadly the same.
Levesque's booking...
It's like reading Harry Potter.
Yeah. Levesque's booking is chapter 1 from April through to about February, and then chapters 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in that 6-week run till Mania. I do want to give a shout out to Solo Sikoa's comedic instincts here as well.
Yeah.
He knows exactly when to do someone's taunt at them to be a proper dickhead. He did at the start, all the heels beat up Seth. Sorry, all the faces gang up, throw Seth out. Good. And then Solo Sikoa's there like,
yeah, me and the boys.
And he does the Penta Zero Miedo thing, and they beat him up as well. Later on, Solo does the Penta walk.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
He knocks out LA Knight and then just goes like, LA Knight. Yeah. since they let him just be goofy Solo, it's way better than serious Solo they were trying to get over as a main eventer last year.
It's mad though, because I used to love Serious Solo.
You were the only one.
No, we all liked Serious Solo back when he was the
that
bloodline scary guy. Yeah, when he tried to lead his own bloodline, that just didn't work for whatever reason.
Yeah, and then he just showed up one day and was like, "I've got a ticket." And I was like, "There he is. There's Solo Sikoa."
But I thought he was really good. Andrade did things occasionally.
He sure was there.
There was a bit at the end where he legit was like, "I'm gonna win it. I don't care. Try and release me when I've won your Money in the Bank briefcase as a shoot." He was running up there. Yeah. He was trying to get it. People are trying to fight him off like, no, Andrade, Seth's meant to win.
There were 6 slots in this match, and he sure was one of them. And I would say the same thing about LA Knight in this match as well.
He's now part of the Money in the Bank furniture, which is so weird for a wrestler who's not that, like, crazy athletic.
No. He's just over.
Yeah.
So sure, he should be in this match because he is over. But like they kind of just sort of skirting by on that a little bit. And they also managed to very much get away with it by saying that he's from Los Angeles. He is from Baltimore.
Hey, it's in his name.
Well, that's it. But they announce him as from Los Angeles, and the guy go, "Whoa, hey, he's one of us," I guess.
So there's the amazing sequence that we've already covered where Chad, El Grande Americano, does this flip thing. And actually, LA Knight chases after him and does a kind of Olympic suplex thing off the top.
Yeah, really good.
And that is when everyone's down. Heyman is shouting at Seth to climb the ladder. Everyone stops him. And then down come the Bronze.
Yeah. Seth calls for the reinforcements.
Bron Breakker spears Americano in half and Knight. We get a tsunami from Bron on Andrade. And they go to get Solo, but that's when Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo walk down as well. And it's like, oh my God, all the big beefy boys, all the big beefy seconds.
Like all of this brilliantly set up on SmackDown on Friday as well.
And who takes... Doesn't someone go through the barricade?
So Bron spears JC through the barricade, and then Bronson Reed gets in with Jacob Fatu, and brilliantly pick the larger lad because it's all the more impressive than the Jacob Fatu hits the pop-up Samoan drop on him. Yeah. And the crowd were going bonkers for Jacob Fatu.
And Fatu sets up the ladder for Solo Sikoa. Solo wanted a particular ladder, which sort of took a bit of the pacing out of it, I thought. And then he goes to climb up, and Fatu grabs hold of his boot. And Solo's like, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I hate you, Solo." Well, he just says, "I hate you." Pulls him down, super kicks him. And did he hit? Oh yeah, and the moonsault,
the spinning. He hit the BME and then did the spinning solo off the apron through a ladder bridge.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, really, really good.
So this has been building for ages, really. The actual, I'm glad it happened and it got a huge pop when it did. But I don't know. I felt like it would. The place to turn would be in one of those classic Bloodline in-ring segments.
Yeah.
Not in this quite chaotic match.
Yeah, this is just... Because it's the story coming out of this is not going to be that Jacob turned on Solo. It's going to be that Seth won. And the R-Truth returns later on. So all of a sudden, like the Jacob Fatu turn, babyface turn, sort of becomes quite low down on the list of things that happened on this show.
But also just the grabbing of Solo's boot. I don't know, it just didn't... Visually, it didn't really do anything for me.
I liked it because it's... All of a sudden, he sets it up and then he just, slowly turns his head and the crowd pop for the head turn because they know what's coming next. And he grabs the boot, drags him down with, "I hate you." I think that's the one thing we didn't get was... Maybe everyone didn't get to hear the "I hate you" bit because that should really be the big, dramatic, "I hate you" Solo. So I guess we didn't get that moment... which you would have got if you'd done this as a promo segment. Yeah. My favourite bit of this match, though, in terms of, talking about over-contrivance, is when Penta and Andrade were up on the ladder, and then Andrade literally looks over Penta's shoulder and goes like, "Oh, that ladder bridge not set up." So they just sort of stare at each other for a little bit, and then Andrade's like, "I'm just going to get down, sorry." So he climbs down the ladder, and they sort of contrive it so they can set the ladder bridge up, then get up onto that ladder bridge so he can do the Mexican Destroyer. Brilliant little bit of contrivance.
Ultimately, though, Seth overcomes LA Knight to get the briefcase. Seth Rollins is Mr. Money in the Bank.
The other reactions I've seen from people are upset that LA Knight did not win this match. And
What? He was never going to win.
Well, but the Triple H just clearly has got nothing for him. Like, he puts him in matches because he's over, but he's almost Zack Ryder at this point. Like, he's being put into actually, let's go and say Zack Ryder, because Zack Ryder didn't get put into things. At least LA Knight gets in matches. But the idea is that the crowd really wanted to be put in matches, so you put him in matches, but you don't really want to put him in matches, so you never have him do things. Like, he's never going to win Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
You say that. Naomi, this was her 5th Money in the Bank before she won it. Maybe he'll win his 5th one.
Yeah, so Seth has the briefcase, probably going to cash in on Monday as per your fantasy booking.
That was my theory.
We then got a trailer for WrestleMania 42, not in New Orleans.
Nope.
It's now in Las Vegas. And the announcement of the King and Queen of the Ring tournament matches starting on Raw. And Nikki Bella makes her return.
Evolution 2.
That's a big show, that Raw now. And then we got the main event, which we've already kind of covered. I mean, 12 minutes of working over Jey Uso.
So boring as well. When they cut off that hot tag attempt, and Logan Paul put in a headlock, you have got to be kidding me. Come on. And then, eventually they got the hot tag and everyone just ran wild and just hit moves. And it was a lot of fun. But man, that working over Jey Uso was unreal in how boring it was.
Well, overall, I gave this like a 3.5 out of 5 score. Too few matches, too many adverts. The angle stuff was good. Fatu turning on Solo was good, but not great, I think. Seth winning was predictable and great. Naomi winning was really good.
Yeah.
And the R-Truth thing happened.
Yeah, Naomi's the one I'm like super pumped for because I think that's a really good, something that feels a bit different and a bit new. So I'm really excited about that. Seth was like the obvious winner, but that also means it's probably the right winner for this match. Because if you just put it on someone else to swerve the crowd, then I don't think that's not the best way to go about things. Truth coming back's a really good PR move, and I'm curious to see what happens next. But as a show, overall, I don't think I'm going to be going back to this show in a hurry. Like, I don't think this will be ranked as like, they weren't classic Money in the Bank ladder matches. It wasn't a classic Money in the Bank show, but it was a good show. Like, it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah. Cast your vote. Can we cast a vote? Can you set up a vote?
Indeed. I was just ending the poll. So, is this a work? No, 63% of our audience, and yes was 17. So everyone else was not quite sure where they land.
While you're doing that, so look out for the poll if you're in the live chat. I will go through our remaining chat gables. Italian Josh writes, "Hi lads, got 4 things to say. Number 1. Thank God I watched it today, so I skipped all the entrances in the first half of the main event." Yep, you did not need to watch the first half of that main event. Number 2, fun men's Money in the Bank match. Number 3, Triple H fumbled LA Knight in 2023, and he will now 100% never win it. And number 4, Triple H is becoming so unlikable. Lots of love.
You can only go for so long playing the character of the internet's favorite booker. And, to his credit, he lasted for about 10 years, which is probably longer than I think people would have given him credit for when he really was trying to convince the world that everyone liked him all the time.
I've been thinking recently about the cheese basket.
Oh, to Sean.
I was like, yeah, well, that was probably that's when you could be a dick and get away with it with cheekiness. But I think, again, like the momentum and favor has just turned where you couldn't anymore.
And I just think, we've said this multiple times over on multiple shows, but get some media training. If you really want to do these post-show press conferences, be better prepared.
Yeah.
Go out there with some actual media training for this, because
I don't think he wants to.
That's it, because he thinks he's good at it, but he's really quite bad at all of this.
Jam4401, "Hey guys, what a good day of wrestling yesterday. I thought women's Money in the Bank match underwhelmed. I don't think Naomi is a good in-ring worker, so I have no desire for her to be champ. Worlds Collide was so awesome. Vikingo and Gable is match of the year."
I mean, it might be in conversations. It was really, really good.
Wow.
It was awesome. It was easily the best thing of like across, the 2 shows that they did yesterday. But I will disagree. I think Naomi's a great worker.
Yeah, I do too. Real Double J, "It was a good time with serviceable action, if predictable outcomes, but a fun cameo at the end to service both the story and fans." Wait, that's my ballerina review. I don't get it.
So Ballerina, that's the new John Wick movie. The John Wick spin-off movie. Yeah.
Very good.
And the fun cameo at the end is in the trailers, because I think they put together those trailers to be like, don't worry. Don't worry, he is here.
My Money in the Bank review is just give Mr. Iguana the Orange Cassidy push in my notes over and over. That's real Double J. And finally for now, Sinner writes, was it WWE not expecting the truth reaction and pivoted, or was it actually R-Truth not expecting the reaction and changing his minds? All reports, if true, say he rejected the pay cut new contract, but has now signed a pay cut new contract.
So I'm going to slightly correct it. Not all reports said that he turned down a new offer. Jonathan Coachman said that he turned down a new offer.
I've not read anywhere from the main credible news sources about the details of any offer that was or not pitched.
Yeah, Fightful's report was he was very surprised when he got the call saying that your contract is not going to be renewed. Yeah, but Jonathan Coachman on his podcast said, from what I heard, he turned down the offer.
Yeah. Well, that's all we've got time for today. There are 2,700 of you watching live right now. I want to see all 2,700 of you over on our Patreon. Where's the link? Can we?
It's linked to it. It's at the top of the.
It's totally free. You just have to sign up to us on Patreon, and you can enjoy some beers with the lads.
Yeah, at the top of the live chat here, you can join our Patreon post show. I'll even actually just right-click, copy link address, and I'll just post it into the live chat there. Oh, it's pasted badly. Hold on. I can do this.
Look, and not only that, as requested at the end of the podcast on Friday, I have brought my fibers. Oh, look, that's probably better to do it there.
Yeah, I forgot about
These are little hair fibers that apparently do make your hair look thicker. And you asked, well, what would happen if you put it on me?
Yeah, because do you want to do it now?
No, it's for the Patreon thing. This is the main reason to get people to go over there.
Oh, I see. So yes, again, just if you are unclear of this, because it's quite confusing messaging from Patreon side of things, so join us over on Patreon because you can get loads of bonus and exclusive content. However, you can also be a free follower of our Patreon page where you don't get any of the content, but you do get to follow the page. And those people, as well as our Patreon pledge hammers, will get to be able to watch and join for this hangout. We're going to do a little Q&A and stuff.
Can you see how many people are waiting on the other? We need to. Everyone needs to open it up. This is going to be terrible Spotify audio content, by the way. Sorry if you're listening on the ears.
Well, 26 are currently waiting.
Come on, everybody, get over there.
If you're still up to this point on Spotify, I want you to leave a comment that just says, "Oh no, you don't want to leave comments saying enough with the Patreon plugs, do you?"
No, that's our sponsor. That's like our Fireball.
A Fireball ladder. Okay, say like I loved the Fireball ladder.
Yeah, we all did. All right, well, let's open our beers. We will be just doing a Q&A. I don't actually know what else, and we'll be trying to apply fibers to Luke's.
Well, it's kind of a loose thing that we've got. We just wanted to hang out with you guys for a bit. So come and hang out with us, and we'll see you really, really soon. Right. Thank you all. We will see you over there. We'll be back on Tuesday with the Raw review. Very big episode of Monday Night Raw. It's the Jay Gunther World Title match. Nikki Bella is on the show. The King and Queen of the Ring tournament begins. And then we'll be back again on Friday with the WrestleTalk podcast talking about the week's news. But until then, thanks so much for joining us. Just going to quickly end this poll to let you know what our audience thought of Money in the Bank, and 45% thumbs up, 45% in the middle.
Yep, I think that's pretty fair. Pretty bang average show overall.
I would agree. We'll see you on Tuesday. Jam that jam.